Imagine a city people once believed was made entirely of gold. Streets covered in gold, temples shining in the sunlight, statues of gods carved from pure metal. A city so rich that it attracted adventurers, soldiers, and treasure hunters from all over the world. Its name was El Dorado. But there was one problem. No one ever found it. And yet for centuries people believed that somewhere deep in the jungles of South America, it truly existed. This belief sparked one of the greatest treasure hunts in human history. The story begins in the 16th century. Spanish conquistadors arrive in South America, men searching for glory, power, and above all, gold. After seeing the enormous treasures of civilizations like the Aztecs and the Incas, they became convinced of one thing. Somewhere out there must be an even greater source of wealth. That is when a strange legend began to spread among them. A legend about a golden king. He belonged to the people known as the Muisca, who lived in the region of modern-day Colombia. According to ancient stories, this culture practiced an unusual ritual. Whenever a new ruler was chosen, a great ceremony took place. The new ruler was brought to a sacred lake. His body was first covered with sticky tree resin. Then priests covered him in fine gold dust. The gold clung to his skin. The king became a shining figure, glowing in the sunlight. He then stepped onto a wooden raft. Standing beside him were priests and tribal leaders. On the raft were piles of gold and precious jewels. Slowly, the raft drifted toward the center of the lake. The lake is known as Lake Guatavita. When the raft reached the middle of the lake, silence fell. The priests began throwing gold and jewels into the water. These offerings were meant for the gods. Then the king jumped into the lake. The gold dust washed from his body. And with that, the ritual was complete. For the local people, this ceremony was sacred. But when Europeans heard the story, they misunderstood it. They imagined a place where gold existed in unimaginable quantities. A place they began calling El Dorado. Stories about it spread quickly. Soon people were no longer searching for a golden king. They were searching for an entire city made of gold. Adventurers began organizing expeditions deep into unknown jungles. One of the most famous seekers was Sir Walter Raleigh, an English explorer convinced that somewhere in the Amazon region stood a magnificent city filled with gold. In 1595, he launched a major expedition. He traveled along dangerous rivers and through dense jungle searching for the legendary city. But the jungle is a brutal place. Many expeditions ended in tragedy. Men died from disease, starvation, or simply disappeared in the endless forests. Yet new expeditions continued to leave. The dream of gold was stronger than fear. Over the centuries, many expeditions searched for El Dorado. Some explorers even tried to drain Lake Guatavita. They believed enormous treasures must lie on its floor. A few golden objects were indeed recovered, but the Golden City was never found. Eventually, historians realized something important. The legend of El Dorado was probably based on a misunderstanding. Originally, the story was not about a city. It was about a person, a king covered in gold. Even the name El Dorado in Spanish means the Gilded One. Still, the legend never disappeared. In 1969, one of the most important discoveries connected to this story was made. A small golden artifact was found. Today, it is known as the Muisca Raft. The object shows a king standing on a raft. Around him are priests and tribal leaders, exactly as described in the ancient stories. This discovery confirmed that the ritual of the Golden King was real. But it also showed that the European interpretation of the story was likely wrong. Perhaps there was never a city of gold. Perhaps there was only an ancient ritual. Yet the legend of El Dorado has survived for more than 500 years, and it continues to inspire explorers, archaeologists, and dreamers. Because somewhere deep in the jungles of South America, a mystery still remains. How much gold still lies hidden at the bottom of forgotten lakes? And is it possible that the true story of El Dorado has not yet been fully discovered?